Hey guys, StarTard here, otherwise known as Absolute Power on Dueling Network, and I am bringing you today a combo guide and elementary Mermail guide. This guide is also going to touch on the next format, the January format, as there are some very interesting things going on with the format. To start off, I'll tell you guys that, for those of you who don't know already, that Snatch Steal is coming back. That is, in my opinion, and in many others, I'm sure, a very bad decision on Konami's part. As Snatch Steal is the closest thing this game can ever get. Probably, I'd argue, to a staple spell, other than Monster Reborn, Soul Charge. Uh, we may as well make decks these days 39 cards and a Snatch Steal limit, because Snatch Steal on its own is just broken. It's recyclable. It's a change of heart that you can use multiple times. If you bounce Snatch Steal back, the monster stays on your field, to my knowledge. At least that's how it worked the last time it was legal. So beyond that, I'm going to start off with some very easy setups. So Mermail as a deck is very reliant on its Atlantean core and its level 3 core. Gunde is coming back to 3, thank goodness, next format, but in reality, I think no more will we be using the Gen X core. In the next format, I think we're gonna go back to Mono Mermail. 3 Gund, 3 Gund, let me flip these upside down. Let me flip these so you guys can see them properly. 3 guns, yeah, 3 guns and 2 spirits instead of these things, because those aren't consistent. I would definitely say that next format, 3 Gund, 2 Spirit would be much better than the Genex core, just because Mono Mermail was so powerful when it was good, and I have a feeling that was Snatch Steal, and with all the back row support this deck has, because Vanities hasn't gotten hit yet, so with all the back row support, this deck will be great. Mono Mermail back then, was good, and in my opinion, it's still going to be very, very viable this upcoming format. So keep a lookout for that deck. But some basic setups. Let's get back to the basic setups. Pike is the card that you want to use 24/7. Pike plus any of the Atlanteans. These guys, the Dragoons, the Infantries, and the Marksmans. These cards are all very good with Pike, because Pike can pitch Marksman to destroy a back row, Infantry to blow up a face-up card, or Dragoons to search any of them. And with Dragoons, you can also search Abyss Megalo, which is a very good card. Also in this format, Pike can search Undine, and Undine is also very good, because Undine can pitch Dragoons to search for any of these guys. It can pitch Tidal to get advantage later in the game. It can pitch Fishborg Archer to get even more advantage. And Archer is good because this deck has a secondary Synchro core in addition to its heavy Exceed core. And that's what Tidal is really, really useful for. So you might be asking, other than just straight summoning Pike from the hand, how do you set it up? So Pike setups Pike is very easy to set up. You really only need this card. Mermail Abysslinde. Lined is very, very strong. When you destroy her while she's set, or when she's destroyed anyway, she summons Pike, so that's an automatically free setup. Plus, Pike can pitch extra Lens, and that's always a plus. That, and if you have this Abyssphere, you can pitch one of your Atlanteans or a not needed water, like a dead Megalo, or like I said before, a dead Abysslinde. You can pitch one of those with Abyssphere, and you'll also get Pike onto the field, because this thing can search for any Mermail of 4 or lower. So Teus can get into Pike. So what do you do with Pike? Once you get it, you search for any of the level 3 water. In other words, these cards and Abyss Gunde, wherever my Gunde is. So Pike can search any of these cards above him. The 2 Marksmans, the 2 Undines, and Gunde, and Archer. Pike can search all of it, and once he gets Undine, he can summon Undine to, again, like I said, go into title combos. But if you don't have Lind or Pike, which is what a bunch of people I see ask, what can you do? Well, that's what this card is for. Abyssphere is the best trap in this entire deck. And what Abyssphere is, it's pretty much a Call the Haunted. It's pretty much a call that summons out of the deck that dies during your opponent's end phase. So if they Mystical Space it or Shaddoll Dragon it, Abyssphere, chain it, and then you can summon out Mermail Abysslinde. And because Sphere dies, the Mermail also dies. So Sphere dies, killing Lind, and then Lind can get Pike, and Pike can go for more advantage. That's one combo. Another combo with Sphere Lind is using Lind to pull a 7. So Lind, remember that Lind can pull any Mermail, so that she can pull this, and she can pull this. The only things that she cannot pull are herself. I would never pull Gunde because you want to keep Gunde in your hand. Note that Teuse doesn't get his effect when he's specialed, and neither does Megalo when either of them are specialed by Lind. However, going into Megalo to run over Winda is quite useful if you set Lind. So say you have a set Lind, and the opponent's playing Shaddoll, and they destroy Lind. Lind goes to grave. Lind special Megalo, and Megalo can now run over Winda. And that's always a great combo. That's one easy way to get around Shaddoll Winda. Other combos involving other cards in the deck. Abyss Megalo himself is a combo card. He can search. Megalo can easily search out Abyssphere. Megalo can search this out. And you can use Megalo to pitch pretty much anything, especially title Atlantean cards. Those are all viable targets for Abyss Megalo here. And when Megalo's summoned, you again get to set Abyssphere. Now, some things that people get confused. If you activate Abyssphere during the opponent's end phase, it will not die. So it's best to wait until your opponent ends their battle phase, and before they go into end, they have to enter main phase too. So when you say, so on end of battle phase, when they declare end of battle phase, activate Abyssphere, always. However, be careful because Abyssphere is chainable. If you get multiples in your hand, don't be afraid to set all of them, because if one dies, then during the opponent's end phase, because Abyssphere won't die, you can just activate it and then summon a big monster, and then still have the other Abyssphere usable to summon Lind and go for a Pike combo, and that's always very fun and very unexpected. Now about the Atlanteans, you always want to use. You mostly want to search Marksman, just because this deck really hates back row. It really hates opposing back row. You really only search infantry with Dragoons. With Dragoons, you'll want to search either of these for the specific situations. But with Pike, you always want to search Marksman for back row cutting, or Undine to pitch either one of these. But if you have this, you always want to use it as an emergency out button to construct or another big monster or big spell trap like Vanity's Emptiness that's preventing you from exploding. So now on to the explosions. This deck can explode incredibly quickly. One of the best combos I have ever gotten is Megalo Gunde Atlantean. If you get any of these three or any combination thereof. Like instead of Megalo, if you get Dragoons per se, let me find my Dragoons. If you get Megalo Dragoon, if you get like any of these, plus a usable normal summonable or special summonable Mermail, such as either of these, if you get a hand of any combination of these cards, you and you're going second, your opponent has like really terrible back row and not and like a set monster, you pretty much win the game, because Pike or the Mermail that can be used to pitch Dragoons, they pitch Dragoons, they search Megalo, and then if you have another Mermail in your hand, like either one of these again, you can pitch these two, special Megalo, special this, and assuming you have Pike in the hand, you now have, at the end of that combo, you now have this field, plus you have the Pike search, and the Pike search usually will net you Undine, or if they have back row, and you want to go for the OTK, then you go for this. This is not an OTK, by the way, guys. This is for field control. So, with Megalo, instead of infantry, you might actually want to search Marksman instead, just to destroy back row. So their back row's gone, you have this field, you have 2 7s that can be used for exceeds, and you have a useless Pike now. Megalo tribute Pike off, because he can attack twice, so 48-17, and then you can go into the extra deck and make whatever rank 7 you want. If you're up against like Teller Knight or something, go Gaios, because he's a walking skill drain. If you're up against, I don't know, like Burning Abyss, you could also do this, but against Burning Abyss, a better option is usually Dracosack in defense mode, just because it can't die, gives you some staying power. If your opponent has a big monster out, then you can Big Eye in defense mode so they don't arc it, and that's always good. So again, this is a really good combo. Mermail, Abyss Megalo plus any other Mermail and Atlantean combination. You can along with Abyss Gunde. So say you have this hand, like say this is your hand, for instance, and you have like TUs, then this is pretty much game. If it's not game, then you're definitely going to be set up for a lot of plays. But that's assuming your opponent's back row is really, really trashy. So let's go to a setup combo that's a little better. This combo will save you a lot. You'll notice that in my deck profile, I run 2 Phoenix Wing Winds. This card is absolutely amazing in this deck. This card is just great. Because another really big combo is to use that card with Jin X Undine. So you go Undine, and then Undine searches for controller and pitches another monster out of your deck. So now you have an Undine, and then you have a Wind Blast, and if you have a Wind Blast, you can pitch the useless controller. So who needs Allure of Darkness when you got this card? And Wind Blast is great because it can spin anything. Not only that, if you use Wind Blast, you can also get Gunde off, and that's another great combo. When Wind Blast Gunde, or you can Wind Blast anything you need into the grave, which is why this card is just awesome in the deck. There's one combo, and another thing that people really ask me about is why I use Aqua Spirit. Aqua Spirit is amazing because Aqua Spirit's your out to everything. So if your opponent has something big, you can summon Aqua Spirit, and if you summoned Jin X Controller already, Jin X Undine, excuse me, and you have a controller in your hand, you can special Aqua Spirit to the field, and then normal summon controller, and nuke with Black Rose or go into Gungnir, and that's an amazing play. Plus Aqua Spirit, if you have any level 4 Mermail in your hand, the only level 4 Mermail actually that's in this deck, Abyss Pike, this is an instant Bahamut Shark, Exciton Knight, Castel, Abyss Dweller, anything. This combo can do lots of damage mid to late game, and especially in the early game, because you can go Bahamut Shark automatically for more advantage plays involving Abyss Trite. This card. And Abyss Trite's good because she can summon any Mermail from the grave. I had someone tell me to cut Trite from the extra deck, and I became very upset just because Trite is so good with this combo. So Aqua Spirit's the reason again why next format I would go to MonoMails, the Abyss Gunde Aqua Spirit version, instead of the Undine version, just because the mono version I find is a little bit faster on the setup. So once you get that Bahamut on the field, a good combo for next format with Abyss Gunde would be if you get Aqua Spirit and a summonable T-Use, that is an automatic Bahamut Shark. Instantly. That is an instant Bahamut Shark. And another card that doesn't often come up is Abyss Oshia. I don't have one on me currently, but what it does is you target a Mermail you control, summon two Mermails from the deck of level 4 or lower, whose levels add up to or are less than the targeted Mermail's level, and then the target dies. So what you would do, if you have this is an automatic Bahamut setup in the mono version, because what you do is you pitch to summon T-Use, and T-Use will search Oshia, and now you have a water in the grave. So you can banish that water and summon Aqua, and now you have a normal summon. Now you have Abyss Oshia. And so you summon that, you target T-Use, and then you special Pike, and you special Linde. I personally do not run Turge, because I find Turge is really slow, and you don't need it. I mean, you can use it for Oshia fodder next format, but that's bad. Just because you have enough Pikes. You'll usually be using like 1 or 2 Pikes per game. So you can always spare a third. And Linde, once you've already got this set up, Linde is pretty much useless. Plus you can use extra guns, but I don't recommend doing that. So now that you have this field, and you have an Abyss Oshia, so pretend this is an Abyss Oshia. It's a level 3. Level 3, 1900 defense, 1000 attack, I think. So you have a level 3, and 2 level 4s. Exceed. So now you make Bahamut Shark, Abyss Trite, and Met-Equipped Engineer. And as you can see, you did that with 2 cards. You got a field of 3 on turn 1 with only 2 cards. And this is good, because if they Raigeki you, you can use Engineer to make Bahamut go into defense mode, and you can special off the Pike that you pitch off, and then Pike can go for more advantage with Abyss Gunde. And remember that Abyss Gunde can keep summoning Trite back. So that's all it... No, never mind. That's not correct, because Trite was not summoned by Exceed. So you cannot Gunde into Trite. Just keep that in mind, guys. But you can use Pike to search for other things other than Gunde, like, again, in Atlantean, or even Fishborg Archer if you want to go for sync opportunities. So this is a really good play, guys. That's really all. That's really all I have for today. If you guys liked this video, please like, comment, and or sub. If you really like what I do here, please give me feedback. I would definitely be willing to do more. As the format draws closer, I will see what I can do. And until next time, guys, peace out.